Hey guys, what we're going to do here is fix a couple bugs that I noticed. One is the Ajax loader. Now I refreshed the page and you can barely see it, but let me go ahead and open up a JavaScript file. So I'll head down to public JS dashboard and I'll just put 2 slashes in front of the list to do so that we can see it. And I'll refresh. And you see here, this is too big. It's because it's a div, and we have some rules in our CSS that make it a little too big. So let's go to our style.css, take a look at that, and here it is, the Ajax loader. Now this can be displayed inline or as a block, but I'm going to put display inline block. Because I don't recall if I'm floating it anywhere, and that shouldn't change anything. But since it's in a div, we would actually have to add the rule div here, but I think it's better to just make a span. So I'll go ahead to my dashboard view file. Sorry, we're hopping around a bit here, and I'm just going to change this to span. Okay, and I'll copy that and go to this one as well for the note. Okay, and I'll refresh, and you see the size is perfect there. Okay, so that takes care of just a little display bug. One other thing is we need to uncomment that so that it shows up. And in our style CSS we have our alerts. Let's see if we made some rules for those. We didn't. So what I want to do is those alerts, when I make something, it pushes this whole thing down and it doesn't look good. It's kind of annoying. So I'm actually going to position that in a better place. So let's go to the ink header view, scroll down a little bit, and here is our error. And with this, I think I'm just going to add, do a fixed position because it appears and then it hides. So error and success. Okay. Let's make sure we don't have it in here. Nope. So I'll say error and success. Position will be absolute. Top will be 50. Now let's say, yeah, 50 pixels. And I could have sworn we had rules about this. Let me check the view. Whoops, I was looking for the header view. Let me take off hide a moment. And I'll refresh, and we have it kind of hanging out right there. We want it to have a Z index so that it's on top. So we'll say Z index 100. And let's do a width of 100%. Refresh. And it looks like it's on top, but it's going too far. So this is contained in the container. So in the container, I should be able to say position relative, and it'll lock that in there. Okay. So I'll say position relative, and I'll just do 10 pixels high. And the width, I'll just say 80%. I don't like to deal with percentages, but sometimes it's just like, hey, let's have the perfect pixels. So 940 pixels minus a little bit of padding. Okay, so we'll say 889 pixels. Okay, and what we can do is a box shadow of say 2 pixels of black, say 0.5, so it's kind of blurred. See how that looks? It might look absolutely terrible. Yep, it does. So I'm not going to do that, but we'll test it out with an actual message now. So in dashboard, or the header view, we'll add back hide here, and I'll refresh the page and create, and it says test. That's still not a very good place. I think we'll put it at the bottom. That'd probably be the best place. So how about this? Position will be fixed. and instead we'll do bottom 10 pixels. And the difference between fixed and absolute is that if you scroll the page, it'll remain in the same place. So refresh, create, see how it stays there when I scroll. So now when I say test, the little alerts, they're in a little bit better place. The other bug I did see was when I tried to delete, it doesn't get rid of the actual element. You have to refresh the page, and we don't want that. So to do that quickly, we'll go to the event, and let me open up my window navigation navigator, and let's look for delete to do. And it's doing a self remove, and self has to do with the parent div. And sometimes what I like to do is console log the div or do something with it. So I'll console log self, and then I'll say self dot CSS border 1 pixel solid red to see if it does anything. Just some quick and dirty test code, and delete. Okay, and the console, if I look in here, the context, remove, it should be removing. So we don't have the right thing selected. This parent's divs, this could be very dangerous, but I'll try it anyways. Delete, and that deleted everything. So let me create a new to-do item. Okay, and the parent div that we do want from the delete is it's an ID, so that makes it a little more difficult in this case. So they click the anchor, and if we go to the parent div, it should delete the closest parent. So for this I'll try something a little bit more clever. The parent div will be the parents plural equals 0, the first one in the index. Go ahead and refresh and delete. Okay, cool, that got rid of it. So it does select all the parent divs, but only the one that equals the first one that it finds. Cool. And if I were to put a 1 here, that would mess things up and probably delete another parent div, like the whole list, I believe, because that's wrapped in a container. So you want to keep that to equal 0. And let's look at the delete note. And delete note also has a self. Let's just do colon equals 0. I'll go ahead and refresh, and let's create a few notes. Okay, and I'll go ahead and delete. Okay, and that did not delete that one, so let's investigate. Inside this DOM, we have our span options, and the delete is clicked. We want to go to the first parent of the div. So let me take a look at that once more. Self equals this parent needs to be plural. There we go. And I'll refresh. Close this guy out. Close this guy out. Cool. And that fixes some of the bugs that I noticed right away that were kind of irritating me. So that'll wrap up this video.